A polar bear that spent several days on a rock and could not get off, and its rescue operation went awry. A bear who literally hugged the people who saved his life. A little polar bear cub who got trapped. I'm going to tell you 5 amazing stories of polar bear rescues that will melt your heart. Number 5. This video shows a polar bear that was stuck on a rock 9 meters from the summit. After spending a few days there, it became obvious to the locals that the animal could not get down. They decided to call a rescue team, but things did not go according to the plan in this story. But first things first. The rescuers prepared the equipment, boats, and even a helicopter. When the rescue team arrived on the scene, they fired a dart with sleeping pills at the bear. To make sure the animal had fallen asleep, a flare was fired over it. The people did not have much time for the rescue operation. While the bear was asleep, the rescuers were getting as close to it as possible. Once they got close enough, they began to tie up the ropes to bring the beast down safely. And that's when things didn't go according to the plan. The rope was too loose, and the bear was hanging on one paw 4 meters above the water. Trying to lower it down a little more, people made things even worse. The rescue attempt turns into an operation to keep the semi-conscious animal from dying underwater. The rescuers team, who come up by boat, must hold the animal's head above the water while dragging it to the shore. But this was a lucky day for this bear. It survived all the problems related to the rescue without getting a single scratch in the fall. It returned to its natural habitat shortly after being examined. Thank God, all ended well. Number 4. Unfortunately, in many stories that I share with you on my channel, it is humans who are responsible for animals getting into trouble. The paw of this little bear cub is stuck in a trap set by poachers. Most likely, the trap was set on a polar fox and this bear just was unlucky. The bear's mother and its sibling were nearby, but they couldn't help, and unfortunately, they disturbed the men from getting close to the trapped bear cub. After firing the shotgun several times in the air, they managed to chase the mother bear away. Then, the men got close to the wounded animal. The bear cub's cry almost brought tears to my eyes. The mother was waiting nearby the whole time and watching as if she knew people were trying to help. After trying unsuccessfully for a while to get the bear cub's paw out of the trap, the people were soon lucky. The little beast was freed. I was very happy that the bear didn't limp, which meant that most likely all of its bones were intact. After a while, the bear cub was reunited with its mother. I don't think there could be a better happy ending. Number 3. This video, where a polar bear wants to cuddle with people like a teddy bear, looks like the usual funny video from Russia. But don't jump to conclusions. In fact, this bear is trying to thank its rescuers who saved it from starving to death. It's a terrific story that you are about to hear from the very beginning. The female cub was found alone on the remote island of the northernmost territories of Russia. The little bear lost its mother and, being hungry, came sniffing about the miners' base last year. It was seeking food as the bear was still too young to have learned to properly hunt. At first, the miners were afraid of the bear, which came to their base almost every day. But seeing how the animal was becoming more and more exhausted every day, the men began to feed the poor bear cub. Being very young and unable to get food in the wild, the bear came to the men for food every day. A mutual trust grew over the course of many months until they managed to tame the wild beast to behave more like a dog, according to the rescuers. Feeding bears isn't just dangerous, it's illegal, as domestication could impair the juvenile bear's hunting skills. However, this cub had been abandoned at such a young age that it's unlikely it would have survived without the help of the miners with hearts of gold. Now that the animal could not survive without human help, the workers contacted the Nature Conservancy. It was decided to take the cub to the Moscow Zoo. Rescue team prepared a large container of wood and metal. After arriving at the place, they lured the bear into a container and sedated it with the dart. And, as you can see, the bear was moved by helicopter and then by plane to the Moscow Zoo. Do you think the miners did the right thing when they started feeding the bear, even though it was illegal? I think they did the right thing, and it's a really great story. Number 2. In this story, the polar bear was not sick or injured. Perhaps he was just a little lazy. But that laziness could have cost the animal its life. The beast wandered into the polar village and did not want to leave, eating whatever it found with people. Kind people began to feed the animal, which, as you know, is dangerous and illegal because the bear gets used to getting the food without effort and will continue to live near humans. A week later, the bear still hadn't left, causing people to quickly act to protect the animal and the villagers themselves. In the video, you now see that rescuers shoot a dart and immobilize the bear. A small cage was made to transport it to its natural habitat. After checking that the bear had no injuries or other health problems, rescuers began the transporting. A helicopter was used and the bear was moved to a place where there are other bears and plenty of fish so it could get its own food. I hope everything turned out well for this animal in the future. Number 1. The next story, unfortunately, is again about poachers. The mother of the little polar bear you see now on the screen was shot by poachers and the cub was wounded in the paw. The dying baby was noticed by the members of the environmental expedition, who had come to clear the Russian island Yamal of garbage. It was decided to help the poor little bear by all means. They reached the bear by foot. The bear was very weak and wounded. It had been lying in one place for more than 2 days. A little more and it could die. Acting together, the men managed to get close to the animal and placed it in a box prepared for transportation. The bear cub was exhausted and almost didn't resist. Since there were no animal enclosures nearby, people placed the bear in the old house. They treated its wound and began to catch fresh fish so that the cub would regain its strength. At the same time, they called the authorities because the animal needed a new home. Even being healthy, this little bear cub could not survive in the wild because it did not know how to get food. But all's well that ends well. Everything turned out lucky for this bear. It has a temporary home and now lives in the zoo. Next, the people will have to decide whether to let the animal go into the wild when it is stronger or move it to another zoo. I hope everything turns out well for this wonderful baby. I want to applaud the people who went to great lengths to save this wonderful animal. If you've watched it up to this moment, then I hope you enjoyed the video. But don't rush to leave because I have 6 amazing shark rescue stories. For example, about a shark that swam up to the divers and literally begged them to help remove the hook because it could not eat and was slowly dying. Click on the video to watch the stories about sharks who ask people for help. See you there!